You clearly know a lot about oncology. How did you get here? How did you learn?
It is a steep learning curve. And I did a lot of research when I was early stage, but I wasn't connected in the breast cancer community. Like I wasn't in any support groups. I didn't connect with anybody on social media. I just sort of went on my own, did my own thing, researched, because I knew how to research. So I basically did that on my own. And when I was diagnosed metastatic, I look back now and I think, how did I not read the statistical average that up to 30% of those diagnosed with early stage breast cancer will have a metastatic recurrence? I didn't know that. And that's not something that oncologists, as a rule, talk to patients about. It could be that they don't want to incite fear, but in my opinion, that is a knowledge gap that we really need to know. I know there are some patients that don't want to know. People have all different desires on how much and what it is they want to know. But I think just to know, I honestly thought it would happen sequentially. I thought, well, you don't go from stage 1 to stage 4. If I'm going to have a recurrence, it's going to be stage 2, or it's going to be a local recurrence before it's a metastatic recurrence. So that I sort of tried myself a little bit on not being a little bit more astute in researching and finding that out on my own. But guess what? I'm not alone. Most people that are diagnosed metastatic as a recurrence didn't know that either. Once I was diagnosed metastatic, I dug back into the research and didn't connect again on social media with anybody. Didn't even think about it. I was on social media, just didn't think about using that as a resource. So I had been using Living Beyond Breast Cancer's website since my early stage diagnosis, just for information resources. It was one of several that I used. And I happened to go on there and see that they had a metastatic breast cancer conference in April of every year. And they had an advocacy training program called Hear My Voice. So I thought, well, I don't really know what that means to be an advocate. But I'm going to apply. I thought, what do I have to lose? The worst that can happen is they say no. And then maybe I just go to the conference and attend and learn. But I got accepted. And so I was about 10 months out from my diagnosis when I went to my first ever breast cancer conference, which is their MBC conference. So I did that all at the same time. We had our Hear My Voice training during the conference. And, you walk in, there's a ballroom with like 400 people. And the majority of them are living with metastatic breast cancer. And here I walk in, never having met anyone with metastatic breast cancer before, not really knowing that there were MBC support groups on social media. That opened my mind. It opened doors. I got connected. And I think that's really, when you talk about how do you learn, it is a matter of immersing yourself and also being open to understanding that those connections that you make with people who have metastatic breast cancer, there's going to be grief, there's going to be loss, a lot of it.
Quick pause. I'm Samira, a cancer survivor. This channel shares real stories in an easy to understand fashion, guidance for the hard moments during the cancer experience. If this helps you and it helps you having us in your corner, you can subscribe for more videos like this. Now back to the show.
But in the end, those relationships are so valuable and so worth it. I learned from other patients. I learned from attending scientific conferences. I attend a lot of webinars. I know a lot of people who have no healthcare background, no science background, who are brilliant. They know way more than I do. So I don't think that's required. I hear it a lot when people say, oh, well, you were a nurse, so that makes it easy for you. In some ways, yes, I understand some of the biology. I understand some terminology that maybe someone who doesn't have any background might not understand. But guess what? It goes back to that theory that I learned in communication class. The more you hear it, the more likely you are to retain it. And that's really what happens is you get connected with people who have like interest. Like most of my advocate friends love the science as well. So, it's like your peer group. They become your peer group. And so you hang with these people, you learn from them, you get connected, in areas that you didn't know, you hear about conferences you didn't know about, you get involved in organizations, and that furthers your learning. And I think for me, it's always been, I truly am a person that believes that knowledge is power. So I never stayed away from learning, even the hard stuff. It's looking at those. When I was diagnosed, the median overall survival for metastatic triple negative was about 9 to 15 months. And so when you're diagnosed with that and you're reading these things, some people might turn away because it's just too
Yeah.
overwhelming. For me, it's like, I got to know.
I fully believe knowledge is power, and fully believe that the whole point of this podcast and all the work we do is to get patients and families access to the right knowledge at the right time, because it's very overwhelming. You don't have a choice when you get
don't.
diagnosed. You have to.
And I think you have to have a little bit of a passion to learn it, whether you have, any background knowledge or not. There needs to be some level of passion that you have this passion that you just want to know. You want to continue learning.
Thank you for watching the Patient from Hell podcast. I started this because I wish I had something like this when I was going through cancer treatment. On this show, you will find videos and stories from real patients, real survivors, clinicians, researchers, oncologists who share their learnings, life lessons, tips, and tricks to hopefully make the cancer experience just a little easier. To find more videos and stories, you can subscribe or share this with someone you think this will help. Thank you.